Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Sky Blue Fans TV. My name's Mark Smith, and our podcast is hosted by our sponsors, Sky Blue Tavern Official, Dylan's Brewery, CCFC Fan Store, CCFC Prints, Mr. View Sky, and Ivy Lucy Designs. Tonight, we'll be talking about the 1-0 win against Cardiff, and I've just finished eating my humble pie, I'm delighted to say, so I'm very, very happy about eating that, and I feel really good now. Tonight, I've been joined by our guest, fellow Coventry fan, Mr. Reece Small. How are we doing, Reece?
Very well, Mark. Yourself?
Well, I think we're both feeling very well after yesterday's win. It's been a while, certainly away from home. It's been a while coming. And tonight's pod will also... So we'll spend the first 15-20 minutes talking about yesterday's result at Cardiff, the win. And then we'll be previewing the Sheffield United fan. We've got the Travelling Blade, who'll be coming on. As a Sheffield United fan, he'll be giving us a lowdown on our opposition on Wednesday night's game. Okay, Reece, let's talk about the start of yesterday's game. Before we go into the actual game itself, start the game. Before the game starts, Robins announced his team lineup. Two changes were made from this game. Josh Eccles comes into the team for Casey Palmer, and Matty Godden came in for Tyler Walker, who was injured. What was your initial thoughts on the team lineup? Was that the right selection for you?
Well, in hindsight, it does, yeah. But I think I was a bit surprised Palmer was left out. But then looking at the busy schedule coming up, obviously the game in the week, maybe it obviously looks like the right decision now. But I'm glad Eccles got a game because he's a player that I think is championship quality. I think he just doesn't get when he gets a good run of games together, he ends up getting an injury, and then we don't see him again for a couple of months. So, yeah, I was happy for him yesterday. So I thought he had a good game. Godden starting, yeah, obviously Walker was injured, and I think I was surprised because I thought we might leave Vic up top on his own and pack out the midfield. But, yeah, all in all, I think I was relatively happy with the starting 11.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of said I put a post on my Twitter page about the fact that I felt it was a side that was set up for containment. That's what it felt like initially. Like we're playing the five across midfield and we were looking to nick a 1-0. I'm just going to bring Ken in actually because he's just arrived onto our pod. Hi Ken, you all right?
Good evening. Good evening.
I'll bring you in a second. Yeah, so I think it was a bit of a surprise for me with the five midfield initially. I mean, forget about what happened after that. I thought I was a bit surprised that Casey Palmer was left out. But obviously, I think in fairness, that is Josh Eccles' natural position as a midfielder. Because if you look at his games, he sometimes plays right back as a cover. He's quite a versatile player, but I think he's at his best in midfield. I was kind of pleased to see him start, but I was a bit surprised in the game. I felt we needed the win, that we were quite defensive. What was your thoughts, Ken, on the initial side that was selected before kick-off yesterday? Was it the right team for you, or would you have made any changes?
I was surprised about Eccles, to be honest. I didn't expect him to be in there, but fair play to him. He did well. He did well. He's a good player, and if he's played in his right position, I think he's a good asset for us. But yeah, I was surprised Eccles was in. I thought Palmer might have started, but he changed it tactically, obviously. For whatever reason, he thought Eccles would do a better job, and he did. To be fair, and he got it right, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought he had a tremendous game, probably between him and McFadzean was man of the match, in my opinion. But we'll go into the game in a bit more detail now. Reece, we started the game really well, didn't we? First 5 minutes. I mean, obviously, Victor Gyökeres misses an absolute sitter, an open goal, pretty much. You just felt when that was missed, you kind of had that "here we go again" type of feeling. I don't know about you. Did you feel the same?
Yeah, frustrated. I thought we started quite brightly. Like you said, got on the front foot. Especially away from home, we've struggled. So when we get an opportunity like that, we need to take them. So yeah, I think I'm glad he got another opportunity later on in the game, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But yeah, that's the only thing missing from Vic's game. I think he's hold-up play, the way he takes players on, runs in the channels. He's very powerful, strong. Yeah, I think sometimes his finishing can be questioned, but he's still young. Fingers crossed he can improve, but he's still scoring, and I think that's his fourth goal now of the season. I think he got 18 last year. Correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, can't really complain. He's getting himself in them positions and getting the opportunities. So if he scores 1 in 2 opportunities or 1 in 3, then maybe that's just we've got to accept.
Yeah, we'll hope that Miss might put off a few suitors for his signature in January. So in some ways, it's probably not a bad thing that he missed it, really. Looking back, just saying tongue in cheek, really. And then after that miss, Ken, Cardiff really grew into the game after, didn't they? They had a lot of possession. Probably they had a couple. I think there's one shot from Robinson that went just wide of the post, but not really testing Ben Wilson. But they did look a threat, particularly from set pieces.
They did, and they had a few consecutive corners as well. And we were getting a bit worried in the ground, like thinking, "Oh, you know, if they scored that chance, it would have changed the game, and they're going to go down and score, and all that sort of thing runs through your mind." And that's what normally happens with us. But yeah, they did come into the game, but they had a lot of possession and stuff. But they didn't really test Ben Wilson. To be honest, they didn't really have any serious saves to make. But yeah, they were threatening, and to be honest, we defended really well.
Yeah, I thought the defending again was good like yesterday. I thought I don't remember, apart from we'll go to the second half a bit, but especially first half, we didn't really give him any real clear-cut chances. I don't remember Ben Wilson really making a save. I think that's credit to the defence. I guess the other interesting talking point in that first half was the substitution of Callum Doyle, because
we were all mystified. We thought, oh, is he picked up a knot that we didn't know about, or maybe, these to make a sub that early. We all thought he was obviously not, but obviously afterwards, Robbins explained, he just wasn't right on the game, was he? Apparently, he noticed he wasn't with it or whatever for whatever reason. He's brought him off. So it was a brave decision because not many managers would do that early. But it worked well. It worked in our favour, didn't it, in the end? And he's a good young player, Doyle, and he has played a lot of football lately, so he's probably not used to that. You've got to remember he's only 19 years of age. So he'll come back. He'll come back probably a better player. But Robbins had to make the call, and he got it right.
Yeah, I thought our entire back three was superb yesterday. I thought really tackling, last-ditch tackling, blocks were really good to see. We seem to really sort of, apart from the Burnley game, we've now keeping quite a few clean sheets now, which is very encouraging to see.
That breeds confidence, doesn't it? If you got a clean sheet,
exactly.
And that going into the games we've got in October this month, we've got quite a hectic schedule, haven't we? So to go there and our first time I've ever seen us win in Wales. I think all the games I've been to over the years, I don't think I've ever seen us win at Swansea or Cardiff, and that's the first for me. So I'm delighted, obviously.
Yeah, all we need now is to win at Preston now, complete the set, really. But
absolutely.
We'll talk about that later in the season.
Yeah.
Reece, the goal from with Gyökeres. I mean, obviously the goal itself was a simple tap-in, but the number of passes was pretty good to see. Well, it was a well worked goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's good to see. Players with confidence, knocking the ball around, showed shades of last season. I think what we've seen this year with the likes of Maatsen and Hyam not here anymore, I think we've gone a bit more direct. So I think it was quite nice to see them knock the ball around. And great link-up play. I think Godden's come in for a bit of stick lately, but I'll always stick up for him because I think he's worthy playing. And lovely ball into Alan. Alan obviously in a good position, good shot. And I think was there to tap it in. So all in all, the link-up play was really good. They looked quite composed on the ball. I think Panzo again played really well. He looks a good player that can bring the ball out, and he's not afraid to take the ball with him and get 20, 30 yards further up on the pitch. So it's looking good. And nice to see Vic have one fall on his lap. Because obviously he missed a sitter earlier on. So that sort of put that to bed, and hopefully that tapping got the earlier effort out of his mind.
Yeah. No, it was a well worked goal. I thought Jamie Allen had one of his better games yesterday. Ken, I don't know about you. I mean, I've been critical of him in other games, but I thought it was probably one of his best games of the season. I saw him play. His link-up play was good.
I was about to say Jamie Allen was fantastic. He was fantastic. Yeah. Him and Eccles, both of them. But he did a lot of running, a lot of work off the ball. He was closing down, winning tackles, winning them 50-50 little tackles, important tackles in the middle of the park and stuff. And yeah, he closed down. His work rate was tremendous yesterday, and I think a lot of the fans realised that. And he has had a lot of criticism lately, so it's nice for him to come out and have a game like that and prove a few people wrong, I suppose.
Yeah. So going 1-0 up half time, and you're always thinking, great, we're 1-0 up, and that's you always think just get one more goal and that should kill the game off, because I'm always thinking the next goal. Second half happens, and Cardiff really start second half off right off the blocks, don't they? Fadzi in particular, the amount of blocks he was putting in was incredible.
Yeah, I don't like 1-0s, and the longer it goes on 1-0, you just know, don't you, that we're going to, make a mistake at the back or concede a last-minute goal or something like that. And then, but the longer it went on, we grew into the game. I thought, they did come out, but the more they come out in the second, they had to come out, didn't they? Because they were losing, so there was more space for us. And I just thought when they were attacking us, there was a few occasions where we nearly caught them on the break again, and we could have got another goal. So it was dangerous for them as well to play that way, because they had to come out, they had to show a bit more attacking and take a bit of a gamble, I suppose, and get players forward. And that played into our hands in a way, because we're a great counter-attacking team, aren't we? So and we nearly paid off on a couple of occasions where we nearly snatched another goal. So, but yeah, it was a bit nervy. Could have done with that second goal, but it didn't come. But we held out in the end.
Yeah, and let's look, Reece, to the game's big moment. Cardiff had a goal ruled out for offside. What was your take on it, Reece, when you saw it?
Well, at first I was a bit confused about what was going on. I mean, at first I thought they called it for handball, and then McFadden had a brilliant game, but he looked like he hesitated and he sort of missed the ball and he went through. But yeah, it was a bit of a funny decision. I think, I'm going to say it was the right decision, obviously, but looking back at it, it was a hard angle to see. But yeah, we'll take that. There's a lot of times throughout last season and this season that decisions haven't gone with us. So I think we'll take that and ride our luck and move on.
Yeah, Ken, what was your view? Obviously, in the 9, obviously being right at the other end of the ground, but what was the feeling amongst the fans?
It happened right at the other end of the ground from where we were. At first, obviously, we thought it was a goal, and then we've seen the referee go over to the line. They're obviously in communication. Now, why, if it was offside, why he didn't put his flag up straight away? Obviously, he didn't. He went over, and you don't see that often these days, do you? The referee's going over to the lino. They normally get told to put the flag up or not. So he went over, whether he couldn't hear him properly or what, but he went over and had a bit of a conversation, and eventually he put his flag up and he disallowed the goal, which is a bit of a relief to us, because I couldn't see anything wrong with it from where we were. And I haven't seen that incident back yet, so I don't really know about what happened. But from where we were, it looked like a perfectly good goal. But of course, as Reece said, as many times this season, I'm not going to complain about that, because as many times this season where we've been on the wrong end of refereeing decisions that's gone against us, I've lost count. So I think it's nice to get a bit of a look for a change, isn't it?
Yeah, I think what's happened is that I think the assistant referee is looking across. Yeah, you can see there's a few bodies there. It wasn't just Robinson. There was another Cardiff shirt. I think I've got a feeling that there was a Cardiff player in an offside position, but it wasn't Robinson who was in that offside position. I think it was a Cardiff. When I first saw it, I thought it could be that Robinson offside position, but I think if you look at it carefully, I think McFadden is playing him on, or it looks very tight. But there was another player who was in offside position, but it wasn't him who received the ball from the header, and that's the key. So I think it probably was a goal. But as I said before, we've had so many decisions go against us, so I'm delighted that it was chalked off, really. So I'm not complaining at all.
There was no complaints from us at all. We were delighted.
Yeah,
it was nice to
I tell you,
quiet.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you one thing I forgot to mention is in the first half, I thought Rule should have been sent off for that forearm smash on Dabo, or at least a yellow card. I mean, to get no card at all, and then Victor Gyökeres gets a yellow for. Yeah. Okay, you could argue a Simrish offence, but I thought Rules' offence was worse. I mean, that could easily have been a red, in my opinion.
Yeah, could definitely have gone as red card. I've seen players sent off for that violent conduct, without a doubt. I'd have to have a look at it again. But, it all happened so quick from where we were, but it certainly looked a foul. And yeah, definitely, if it's intent, then it could have been a red card, definitely, without a doubt.
Yeah,
I think the difference is though with Dabo, the player Rolls has actually gone like with his forearm. He's gone forward with it. Where Vic has a little look and tries to shield the player, and he gets a booking. But the problem is their player Rolls does about 3 or 4 rolls. Dabo lies on the floor, sits up, and holds his face and gets up. And I mean, I love seeing that because it brings honesty in the game. But this is sometimes we've been quite critical of how naive we can be in game management. I mean, you look at Hamer getting sent off at Birmingham, and the way that player reacted. And I think that them decisions are sort of influenced by the players. And I think Dabo, to be fair to him, I praise him for what he did, but he could have quite easily rolled around and got that player in a bit more trouble. To be honest, he's too honest for his own good.
Yeah. You're right there, and we don't do that. We don't do that nowhere near enough, do we? There's been loads of times where we could have done that, and we haven't just got up and gone on with the game, which makes it easier for the referee, if you like. You don't have to make a decision. But we should really do that on occasions, and we should get a bit more of a nasty streak, if you like, in our game. But we don't tend to do that nowhere near enough of where we should. Like other teams do against us.
Yeah. Okay, let's just go to some of the comments here from our audience tonight. Glenn Watkin makes a comment about Eccles being superb yesterday. I think we're all in agreement on that. I think he, for me, we'll talk about obviously the Sheffield United game in a bit. But he was outstanding, arguably one of the man of the match. More mix-up, shall I say? Sorry about that. Loved it that Robbins had seen that Doyle was struggling, decides to make a change early on. But I think. I think Doyle. I think what I was saying before. I think Doyle thought he was not 100%, but I don't know. There was a bit of confusion there on that one.
Yeah, it confused us, but we didn't expect it. But for whatever reason, he's done it, and it worked in our favour on this occasion. So
yeah,
it was a brave call from Robbins. I think it was a brave call taking Doyle off, but I think Doyle, like you said, he's either 18 or pushing 19. And the only worry I've got is that the young lad's confidence has been shattered. So we don't know what Doyle is like as a character, but hopefully he'll bounce back from that and see that as just an off day. He's been very good over the last few games he's been in. Just take it on the chin and just to improve. I think, to be honest, Rose needs a mention because again we have been quite critical of Rose. As fan base, he's not us in general, but I think he come on and done well. I think it was the right decision in the end because Rose is more naturally a right-footed player, and you can tell that Doyle's good enough to play there because he's obviously got the pedigree of playing for Man City and through the youth systems in England. So, but it was good to see us having that right balance at the back with Rose. But I think Doyle will be fine. Like I say, I'd personally bring him back in against Sheffield United. That'd be my opinion. But yeah, I'm sure we'll go and talk about that anyway.
Yeah, he might well do that as well. It wouldn't surprise me if Robbins did playing again. Different team, different tactics, I suppose. And he'll probably do that. He'll probably rotate.
Fresh legs as well.
Panzo, depending on who we're playing.
But going back to the second half, I thought what we did really well is, aside from the disallowed goal, the game management I thought was really good on our side. We didn't we restricted. We didn't. I don't remember Wilson really making any saves. Really, there's a few dangerous corners and that. It's kind of similar veins to the first half. I thought overall we coped with their threat really well. It was a game I was really worried about because of the fact that they came into the game in really good form. So it was, as I said before, I was expecting us to do 2-0, but I was very, very happy and delighted that we didn't. So I did sort of say
keep them predictions coming, Mark.
Yeah, You keep doing that, I'm going to disprove you wrong all the time.
Yeah, well, I'll be. Yeah, you wait for the predictions for the next game. We'll bring on.
Yeah.
We'll bring on our next guest, the Travelling Blade. Good evening. How are you doing?
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I'm doing well, thank you.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Sheffield United have had a pretty good season, haven't they, so far? Second in the league. How do you sort of summarise the season so far from the games you've seen?
It's better than I was expecting. I thought we would be, at least in like the top 8 or 7, pushing for those promotion places, playoff places. Didn't expect us to be, second. We were top for quite a while. Sort of having to take a bit of nuance with it now. Before the international break, we were absolutely rocking and rolling, and we're all, I think, maybe getting a little bit carried away with ourselves. But I think our form justified our excitement. We were winning most games. We were keeping loads of clean sheets. We had Sander Berger, Iliman Ndiaye being absolutely fantastic. Our defence, our new Anel Ahmadodzic defender, being phenomenal, being great at both ends of the pitch. Wes Foderingham keeping clean sheet week after week. And in true Sheffield United fashion, I thought it was just a Chris Wilder thing, but no, it just seems to come with the badge. The international break comes, we come back, and now we're absolutely pony. Well, maybe that's a bit of an overstatement, but we've got 2 points from our last 12 games. 2 points out of 12 from our last 4 games after the international break. Somehow we're still second. I think that's a bit of a indictment on the quality of the league at this point. I think before yesterday, we had 1 point from 9 and we were still top. I think we've been riddled by injuries. I know it sounds like I think we're up to about 17 players injured now, most of which are defenders. Really are having to have a few makeshift players here and there, people playing out of position. A lot of our starting players, like for instance, yesterday we had no Sander Berger. Ahmadodzic only came on as a sub. O'Connell's still gone. Probably never see him in a Sheffield United shirt again. So, and we are struggling in that sense. I'll just hope these are just about to run out of battery, so hopefully they can still hear me after. Hang on.
Yeah, can
that's all right. Yeah, we'll carry on talking.
It's turn. Is that all right?
Yeah, you're still good. Yeah, all good.
All right, yeah. So yeah, I think. Oh,
we'll get him back on. That's fine. Before just looking ahead to the game, Ken. I mean, would you? Gustavo Haim obviously is available for us.
Yeah.
What would you do with your Mark Robbins? Do you bring him back or not?
No, absolutely not. No, he'll stay on the bench for me. I probably wouldn't be surprised if he sticks with the same team, to be honest. As he played against Cardiff. Hamer, for me, obviously let us down against Birmingham. There's no doubt about that. He's cost us a couple of games, hasn't he? When he's not been available, 4 games, he's not been available for us, and we've had to fight without him. So he'll have to fight for his place back, as far as I'm concerned. I think he should stay on the bench and earn his place back.
Yeah. But go bring back the Travelling Blade. Sheffield United again. As I say, last 4 games, no wins in them 4 games. And obviously, yesterday it's Blackpool. What was that game like from a Sheffield United point of view? There's quite a few red cards I could see. There's more red cards than there were players playing in it by the looks of it.
Absolute chaos. I don't think it was quite the Battle of Bramall Lane we had against West Brom back in the day, but it was getting on that way. We started out, ended up 2-0 up, weren't playing particularly amazing, but I thought we keep opening these up, we should be good here. And you're thinking 2-0 up in about less than half an hour. I'm thinking, oh wow, I didn't expect it to be like quite as easy as this. We're doing really well. And then for some reason, I don't really know what happened. Just, I think that's our main issue at the minute. When we haven't got a Nell or Anal, as he often gets coined, in the back line, we're so loose and we're shipping so many goals, and it's a shame to see people like John Egan and Bashan that have been stalwarts for us in the last few years. It's just like an absolute open passage for attacking players, just to you send balls in, just silly mistakes, not tracking players, not winning headers, really slack, loose defending. They got one back, and I'm thinking that's it. It was 2-1. I thought they're easily going to equalise here. And then I think, I can't quite remember their second goal, but I think once I probably was some sort of crossing. But I was not surprised whatsoever when they equalised before half time. And it was sort of made the atmosphere quite a bit gloomy. And, maybe not gloomy, but frustrated. We don't really get sad. We just sort of get angry and just sort of frustrated at either the officials or our own players as fans. And as soon as they got that first goal back, I knew they were going to equalise, which is like such a shame because we were so good at, we were so resolute before the international break, keeping so many clean sheets, and now we're just shipping goals. Like, we conceded 3 against Stoke, gave them their first home win of the season. We conceded 3 against Blackpool, and these teams that were like 18th when we played them, it's not like we're playing Norwich or Burnley or QP or someone that's, high up in the table as well. These were teams that had poor starts to the season and were struggling. And then as soon as they equalised, I thought they're going to kick on and it's going to end up with 3-2 to them. And we started so well, and I thought we really had to control the game. And then we just became so sheepish, cowardly, spineless. And I thought, we're just letting them in here. And then we had, like I said, just absolutely let them through. And it was so annoying because at the start of the game, I thought we're all over these. We're not giving them anything. We've got the game by the scruff of the neck. And then we just sort of just let it slide away. And they were absolutely openings up left, right and centre. Should have probably scored a few more. There's a few tackles here and there going in. Hence why the people that got sent off, it were both second yellows. I think just before the second yellow, I think they got sent off because I don't know if other end of the pitch for me, but I think we got a corner and then one of their players kicked it against one of our players. And then there's a bit of a tussle on the pitch, second yellow. Then we got the penalty. Ryan Brewster hammered it against the post. I thought it might have gone in the side netting.
Yeah.
And then miraculously, we got a 99th minute equaliser. And then full time, all hell breaks loose. Everyone's fighting on the pitch. And one of their players, I think it was Lavery for them, and Wes for us, our goalkeeper no less, got sent off after the final whistle. And I've never seen anything like that in them. Obviously, I've not been going that. Been going about just over 10 years, but I've never seen players in person, the game I've been to, fighting after the final whistle and actually getting sent off after the final whistle.
It was a great strike though from Ollie Norwood though in the 98th minute. I saw the highlights, just absolutely smashed it into the bottom corner. It was a really good strike. What's Fodringham sent it off for? Was it just was it a melee or was it swearing at the officials? What was the actual sending?
So him and another player ended up actually on the floor wrestling each other. Both sort of just grabbed each other. It was like they were playing judo. To be honest, ended up. I don't know what sparked it. Wes usually quite a calm character. It's usually McBurney doing this kind of thing, not Wes. He's often a bit of a cool head, and I don't know how it started because I was like walking down the steps and, Brewster was like, the Blackpool players were quite dejected because of the late goal. And Brewster was like helping one of them up and just like shaking hands. And then next minute I just see a bit of a hoo-ha from the stands, look up and everyone's just in like a scrum in the middle of the pitch. And next minute someone grabs like Wes's shirt, then he sort of grabs onto them and then they're both on the floor and then everyone just rushes in. We actually had security on the pitch as well. So I don't know what sparked it. I don't know if someone said something to Wes or I really don't know. But it was a lively game during the hence the 2 reds during the 90 minutes. And I think, obviously I'm biased towards Sheffield, but I think it's quite objective of me to say, regardless of the decisions made, but the ref lost control of the game. So it just sort of became a lawless vacuum where the players were just sort of trying to sort it out themselves and weren't paying any respect or attention to the referee, just taking matters into their own hands. I don't know what sparked it after the final whistle. I think we might try and appeal it, but who knows? But yeah, chaos and quite disappointing. So 2-0 away from the fight in 2-0 in full control against a team that aren't, we're about 18th or something like that. And we can't hang on even at home. Before the international break, our home form was like impeccable, and away we were sort of picking up draws and a couple of scrappy wins. But now we're just getting draws at home, throwing leads away, and getting nothing on the road.
the fact you've 2-0 up against Blackpool, I mean, what do you put it down to? The fact that Blackpool got 3-2 ahead? Was it just defenders just dropping deep? Was there just a bit of panic, lack of confidence? What would you put it down to? Have you watched the game?
Yeah, I mean, we had it like the other week where we were 1-0 up against Birmingham. It was really poor defending. Like the ball came to Troy Deeney under no pressure whatsoever, and he was just one-on-one with Wes slotted home. And I think all I can think is that like we've sort of forgotten how to defend altogether, and just crosses coming in. I can't remember if it was from a throw-in, free kick or corner, but it was definitely a cross in. Just came to Yates, who got both for their first 2 goals, I believe. Sort of quite a nice finish. Sort of, I think he almost like side-footed it into our side netting, sort of like on the volley. And just I don't know who was meant to be marking him. I think the back line now. It was just, like I said, we just sort of seem to like every single week conceding from across, whether it's from in play, free kick, corner. We just can't defend across into the ball whatsoever now. And then I think that's it because of that. I think sort of, like I said, I knew that I thought they're going to equalise here. And it's almost like the players knew it as well, which is like, it's a bit, people say I should be more positive, but my thoughts sat in my seat aren't going to affect what happens on the pitch. Whereas if our defence are actually sort of, it looks like they're almost conceding themselves to, oh, that's it now, we've conceded. So they just got really, I think after that, Blackpool sort of smelt blood, and we got nervous, started panicking. I said I can't remember their equaliser, but it's just I think they just our defence started going from a bit complacent, and then when Blackpool got their first goal, just panicking, and then all over the place. No structure, no one leading, no one claiming headers, any ball in, just like you're thinking this could go in, this could be easily. And then they've got players like he didn't score, but Gary Medina in the box is always going to cause trouble, especially when you've got a defence that are just absolutely crapping themselves every time something comes into the box. And we just seem so spineless, no communication. And the third goal was just absolute shambles from us, really slack defending, not any sort of defending you'd expect to see in this league.
Yeah, but I guess a point to point, I guess you'll be happy with a point. Almost feels like a victory, I guess.
It's real mixed emotions because you're thinking we threw it away, but we salvaged something.
Yeah,
I was going to ask you. Do you think your manager is the right person to take you up? Because you'd be lucky, obviously, to improve on last year. Well, you're doing okay at the moment, but do you think he's the right man?
I think so far. I don't know if anyone. I mean, I'm not the most knowledgeable in this department, but I can't think of anyone that would be better suited to come in. I was very doubtful when we signed Heckingbottom in. I thought it was just an easy option, a cheap option, a yes man coming in. I think that's one of the reasons Wilder left. He was very stubborn and pig-headed. Maybe one of the reasons he's been sacked from Middlesbrough as well. Yeah. And I thought, they're going to want someone who's a bit more like, just a bit more platonic, or someone that's a bit more, not as spiky, not a bit more malleable and not as stubborn as Wilder. But he's proven me wrong so far. I really didn't expect when he came in. I think we were sort of like 16th, 17th last season, and I thought this season's just going to peter out into nothing, and we ended up with a playoff place that we'd secured fairly comfortably. And we didn't expect anything to come of last season. This season started brilliantly, got us up to first, and we're thinking, flipping out. I thought we did really well in the transfer window. I thought we were really shrewd. Didn't spend, obviously, tens of millions, I don't think, but spent a bit just to get in a bit of quality like Ahmed Odzic. A few, decent stuff. Bought more than I thought we would. And yeah, he's been good, and he's starting to show a bit of grit and that, which I sort of liked. He's not trying to be wild. It's not a Wilder tribute act, but he's starting to show a bit more of the passion and that here and there. But yeah, it's like, I don't know why, but we just seem to be absolutely dogged by injuries. I think if we had, I know everyone will say this, but I think if we had at least, even 90% of our squad fit, I think we would still be top and probably more comfortably, like they said. The fact that we've only got 2 points out of our last 4 games and we're still joint top on points. It's only goal difference we're behind Burnley now. We could have easily been about another 8 points or so clear of second place. If we'd have just held on yesterday, that's 2 points, and then another. I suppose, I can't remember the other away game we lost, but we could have been a good 4 or 5 maybe points here or there without much effort. But I thought we had good squad depth, and I thought we did. But then obviously now, I thought that our backup players, they should be performing better than they should be. But when it comes to like the crunch time, and if you just show them any sort of pressure to that defence, they just seem to panic and crumble. So I think with Hecky, it's going to be a good test of like we've had this before with him where we've had good spells and then we've sort of become disappointed and then he's brought us back. We've kicked on. And he's got to do it again. It's nowhere near a crisis, second place, but it's I think, or maybe as an outside, it still looks like we're doing strong. But then, like for us, the contrast now, we are pretty much a shell of the team that we were before the international break, and we're riding on our own coattails here. So I think Hecker's gonna have to do a good bit of like real test of character for him and the squad in terms of we've got some good players. Yeah, we've got injuries, but you can't do much about that. So you're gonna have to really get the lads that we have got available, just showing a bit more spirit and backbone.
Yeah. Question I've got in from official Flame Esports team. Are Sheffield United missing Morgan Gibbs-White from last season? And is there any reason why there's been so many injuries this season for the Blades?
Morgan Gibbs-White, we definitely weren't. We weren't doing, I think, because NJ has been absolutely fantastic for us this season. I'd say as of yet, well, maybe not the last couple of games, but so far, NJ this season has been arguably better for us than Gibbs-White was last. And also because we've also had Berger has been brilliant as well. He's been phenomenal for us this season. And even McBurney, different player to Gibbs-White, but because McBurney's been popping up, I think he's got about 5 goals so far, which is unheard of for him. We've not missed Gibbs-White as much. I think those last season we seemed quite dependent on him. He had a good relationship with Sharp. They often set each other up, but we always seemed a bit dependent on him. Whereas this season we seem to have had more people stepping up to the plate and bringing that dynamism that he brought, the assists and the finishes. So as of yet, no. And I think he's done all right for Forest so far, but he's not been, well, like pretty much the rest of Forest, not been great. In terms of injuries, I really don't know. I don't know why. I don't know if it's a bit of an indictment on our physio team and medical team. I don't know what's happening in training. I think I heard yesterday that they've even tried to like break training up into like pods so that less people are like getting injured in training or things like that. I think another thing as well, I don't know what our physio and medical team are doing, but like with some players, like we've got Kieran Clark on loan from Newcastle. We hadn't seen him in ages. And like months ago, they said, oh yeah, it'll be the next few weeks. And that's probably about 2 months ago now they said that. So I don't know why it's taking so long to get people back. And then, for instance, like Jayden Bogle, he'd been injured since like February, March last season. He came back. He's played about 1.5 games and now he's back injured again. So I really don't know. I don't know if maybe our medical physio team are just far inferior to the rest of the league. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening in training. If they're just doing total wipeout every day, I don't know what's happening. If they're just cage fighting each other, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, I said, I mean, who else have we got out now? It just seems to be people like no one seems to get. Like I said, they'll come back for like 1 or 2 games and then they're injured again. I mean, I think we had a few. I know like there's a few players like Sander Berger and that they attract fouls because of like they're sort of better players. I think, and Sander Berger was just about realizing that he is like one of the best players in the league, and if he runs at someone, there's not much they can do, and he's an absolute unit of a player. So there was like players just literally. We saw it last season as well, just absolutely ragging him all over the place and sliding in. So he got injured because of a foul. We didn't even get a penalty for it, but he got slid in the box and he came off with that. I don't know if our players just made a paper mache or what, but it's we've not had. Yeah, we've had a few. Even like last like 10 seasons, I don't think we've ever had it like this bad. Like 17 players and just each. when we were like really doing well this season, it was pretty much the same 11 every time. And now it's like every game's like tinkered. It's like you've got 2 or 3 changes every single game now. And it's, I think that's one of the reasons our form has dropped off since the international break. It's not the second string, but the lack of chemistry between players. And it shows in the defence with the communication or lack thereof.
Our colleague Miles from our podcast is asking who out of all the injuries has been the biggest loss for the Blades this season or at present?
Wow. I've got 2 answers. Overall, this is sort of a long-term answer. Like, would be Jack O'Connell, but I mean, he's been injured. Christ, like 2 seasons now. I think he's had probably 2 full seasons out injured. That second season in the Prem, what was that, 2020 to 2021? He didn't play any of that, and I think that's one of the reasons we absolutely nosedived. But I think for me, like, he's been injured that long. I often forget he's injured. I just think he's like gone. I think more recent injury that's a big loss is Sander Berger. Just one of them players, I think, arguably best player in our team on his day. I think, well, he's getting more consistent as well. Like last season, we'd see flashes, and then the next game he'd be getting, you wouldn't see him like turn up for the game. I think this season, I'd say he's arguably the best player in the league in some. He's definitely one of our best players. And he can take the game by the scruff of the neck. He's been scoring. He just runs at people. They don't know what to do because he's like, the ball just seems to stick to him. He sort of like runs in like an ungainly way. He's almost like, but he's just like, he's not the quickest, but he's just that big that he doesn't really need to shift his legs that much. He hold players off. He's great on the ball. And this season he's had a bit of confidence to him this season where he has picked the ball up and just ran like at defenders. And I think that's one of the things with us sometimes without him. We'll have the ball, but we're just sort of trying to pass it around side to side. And when we've got him there, we just know we've got someone who'll get it and just literally run out of defence. And the defence is like, right, I don't know what to do. And he will unlock the game for us. And since we've lost him, it's we just seem to be passengers in the game rather than being active in actually taking the game to the opposition, that we're letting them take it to us.
Yeah, I mean it's like us at Callum O'Hare. I mean the fact that we've been without Callum O'Hare all season has been a massive loss for us because of the fact that his link up play and he sees a pass, he can read the movement and he creates chances. And when I saw Sander Berger, I know we beat 4-1 the last fixture, but I could see But before the goals actually went in, I could see the quality of Sander Berger. I could see what he could bring to the team, and I think he definitely for me is a massive loss for Sheffield United because I think he's a class player in my opinion. And looking ahead to the game itself, obviously Fodringham is obviously not playing. If the appeal doesn't rule in Sheffield United's favour, so I'm assuming Adam Davies comes into the side, and who else? What other changes do you envisage for this game?
I mean, it's quite interesting because Adam Davies is like meant to be our second string keeper, but I've not actually seen him yet. Whereas Jordan Amissa, who's sort of like the under-23s keeper, I don't know why, but when Wes came off at Luton with a bit of an illness, he pulled a Gary Lineker at Luton, shall we say? He actually brought Jordan Amissa on, so I think I'd probably go with Amissa. To be fair, he seems to have I think he gave us a good showing at Luton. He kept I think he kept it well. He didn't concede when he came on. He's actually bigger than Wes. I'd probably maybe start with him, to be fair. I think also I'm hoping because Ahmed Odzic did come on as a sub at the end of the game, so I think I'm not even sure who. I know we had definitely had Bash and Egan. I'd probably drop Basham. I'm trying to think. I'll probably drop Basham for Ahmed Odzic. I'm really hoping, because we're so much better with Ahmed Odzic on both defensively, and he's a great. He's sort of like when we used to have O'Connell, just this, or what Basham used to be like, just this great defender, brilliant going forward. I think he's got about 3 goals for us this season, Ahmed Odzic. So hopefully, I think if we can start him, that will give me a lot more confidence going into the game. Whether we'll win or not, but I think we should hopefully not ship 3 goals this time if we start him. midfield probably be I think the midfield forward will probably be the same. Probably like Njai, McBurney, Brewster, Norwood, and Tommy Doyle. Probably Baldock again, because I don't think we've got anyone else that's fit for right wing back. Left wing back, I'm not sure who that'll be. I'm not sure. I can't remember because we're just sat spinning plates now. I mean, we played Ben Osborne there, and he was poor, but. Yeah, I think hopefully Ahmed Odzic will be back in. We might have to play Bash again and put Norrington Davies at left wing back, but it'll probably be Adam Davies in net. And like I said, hopefully Ahmed Odzic in. Other than that, I think it'll probably be largely similar with your Njai and McBurney. But they can go like Njai is like, I was singing his praises earlier, but last couple of games is not shone as brightly as he used to. So. Hopefully, he's got the World Cup. I don't know when Senegal choose their team, but he did get called up for the break last time. I think with the World Cup coming up for them, that gives him a bit of an inspiration, motivation to really try and give us as much as we can and show him, sell himself to the Senegalese team, being ready for the World Cup. So hopefully that's a nice bit of motivation for him.
Well, that'd be a nice bit of motivation after the Coventry game. Really, more to the point, don't perform in that game. Let's bring in Reese. Reese, this game, obviously, just asked Ken earlier about potential return of Gus Hamer. Do you agree with what Ken says about not bringing him back and maybe keep an unchanged side for this game?
Well, before the Cardiff game, I probably would have brought him back in. But the way that Eccles, Sheaf and Allen played, I don't think you can drop him. I think... for me, Sheaf has been player of the season so far. He does so much, like the donkey work, the break up of play, the odd tackle here and there. He's so much more confident on the ball than what he was last year. I find, he had a great second half of the season last year, but this year he just seems to take that extra second on the ball as he think about what he's doing, turns out from pressure. I think he needs a mention because I think he's been really good. I would let Hamer sit on the bench and think about the two semis off he's cost us, and he's cost us games this season. He's undoubtedly talented and one of our best players, but I think he needs to sit this one out and think about fighting his way back into the team rather than just slotting back in. I think his ego maybe needs to take a little dent, as well as the positive. You can look at it. We've got a lot of games coming up thick and fast, especially with the rearranged games that were postponed at home. So we're going to need Hamer in them games because he's going to be fresher than the other players. So we're going to see a lot of players that are going to have tired legs over the next 2 or 3 weeks. So I think it could end up being a blessing in disguise. So yeah, I would sit him out for this one and bring him on second half when the legs are going.
And Ken, Casey Palmer, is he a guy you'd start, or do you think just leave him on the bench like last game at Cardiff?
Well, he did. To be fair, he did well when he come on Saturday at Cardiff. He did well. His work rate was good, but no, I've just got a funny feeling Robbins will keep the same team, and you'll find Palmer on the bench. I'll be surprised if he changes it. But that's another acquisition. I mean, Palmer's looking good. I mean, he did look good when he come on. Looked strong. And it's good to have them sort of players coming back, isn't it? And you've got Kelly as well, remember, very, very close to coming back as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's on the bench on Wednesday as well. So he's slightly ahead of O'Hare, apparently. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's on the bench as well. So you've got good choices there for midfield, haven't you? We've got Hamer, Kelly and Palmer on the bench. So that's pretty strong.
Yeah, the only argument, in my opinion, in favour of starting with Hamer is, as Travis Blades alluded to there, they've got a lot of injuries. And I think psychologically, without Wes Fotheringham, who we assume is not going to start if the appeal isn't overturned, you've got Adam Davis in goal, who, I think has played under 23s. I think he played actually against Coventry in under 23s recently. If you have Hamer starting, and just say to him, if you get a chance, a sight of goal, have a pop, test him out. See what he's like. That's the only reason I think maybe start with Hamer. I totally get the reasons of keeping the same side, but with their injuries, is there not an argument maybe for playing Hamer in that on that basis, or not really?
Well, I don't think so. I think we've got plenty of players in the team that can have a shot. Sheaf's got a good shot on him as well. And I know Alan hasn't scored that many either, but we've got plenty of players who can test the goalkeeper, and I wouldn't bring him back just for that.
I think this game it's 90 minutes, so I think the subs are going to play a huge part.
Yeah.
I personally would start Palmer and drop Godden. Purely tactical reasons. I'm not going to be one of these guys that are going to start slagging off Godden because I really rate him. But I think playing Eccles and Sheaf as your sitting midfielders and having Allen and Palmer supporting Vic on the break, I think will probably help us tactically. I think playing effectively two 10s, supporting Vic up front, I think could work for the first hour. And then I think there'll be a switch where you could argue that Hamer will come on for tired legs, maybe an Allen, Eccles or Sheaf, depending on how they've all come out of the Cardiff game. But yeah, and then you think you've got players like Godden to bring on. I think, to be honest, I haven't been a huge fan of him, but Waghorn needs a mention because he come on, he looked lively, and as well that what we've obviously spoken about in the group that we have is Waghorn's not sulked. He's not sat there and thought, "Oh, sod it, I'm earning X amount of money a week. I'll sit with my feet up on the bench." He's actually really supporting the younger lads, and I think he's always on the sidelines guiding players. Like I say, I haven't been a huge fan of him. I don't think he's been the greatest signing that Robbins has ever brought in. But on the other hand, his attitude, his professionalism, by the way he came on, when he done a little step over and went past, I nearly fell over. I haven't seen that from Waghorn for a long time. But I think I want him to do well, and I know I've been in the past I've been quite critical of him, but I want him to do well because he's still wearing a Cov shirt, and I think he's still got something to offer, especially like I've said with Hamer coming back. We've got a lot of games come up thick and fast. We've got players like Tavares who can come in, who brings a different outlet, just war pace. I still think he's still a bit wet behind the ears in the sense of experience, but he was scoring goals in the under-23s last year, and I think he needs to get minutes in his legs as well. The 5-minute cameos he's been getting, there was a stat that we looked at the other day that he's averaging 17 minutes a game on top of only the 12 appearances he's made from the subs bench, and I don't think he started any games. So I'd like to see more of him because it looked like at Burnley he came on and he gave us that plan B that we don't always have.
Yeah, he did well. I agree with Waghorn. I thought Waghorn did really well when he come on. His work rate was tremendous, and I think a lot of the fans at the end were clapping him as well. So they recognised what he did, and he hasn't had much of a run out, has he, for us? So he's had to be patient. But yeah, you never know. He might. He desperately needs a goal, obviously, and give him a bit more confidence. But he's a good, he's a good player to bring on, or he can change if need be. So. Yeah. Look, going forward, we're looking. The bench is looking quite strong once we get all our players back fit and up and running.
Yeah, well, I agree with Reece about Waghorn. I think his attitude has been brilliant. I mean, I think he's very popular with players. I've actually met him at the end of season 2, and he's such a nice guy as well. Seems very approachable, and he's really good with the fans as well in terms of communication, social media. There's a lot to like about him. I think we just want him to do well. We want him to score. I think he does. He can offer something to the side, but he just needs that goal. I mean, he hasn't had a lot. In fairness to him, he's not had a lot of minutes. I get the argument for starting him. I personally wouldn't. I would go. I would possibly go. I'd probably, on the balance of it, keep it at the same side, and maybe bring Hamer on the second half. If hopefully we're not chasing the game, but if we're in a situation we are chasing the game, he's a great guy to bring on. I don't think he's an automatic starter. I think I would like to see 3-5-2, but I'm kind of got faith in what Robbins does because he usually gets things right. In my opinion, he gets more things right than he gets wrong. So I guess the argument with starting Hamer, from my point of view, is that with the number of injuries Sheffield United have got, we're playing him, I would say, at a reasonably good time. Although I said that we were playing Cardiff at a bad time, we won. So I'm hoping the opposite doesn't happen this time round. But I don't know. I think I'd probably go 3-5-2. That's where I'd go for this one. That's just my view.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. Let's finally end up and go with predictions this game. So we'll go on the red corner. Travelling Blade. How are you feeling ahead of this game?
Hopefully we've got Ahmed Odzic back, but we never did. Even when we were doing really well, we never did that great away. So I'll go for 1-1, and hopefully we don't lose and ship another 3 goals again. So I'll go 1-1.
1-1. Reece?
Yeah, I think our fullbacks are going to be key in this game. I want to mention them both while we're here. I think Dabo's been fantastic the last 4 or 5 games. When he's fully fit, I think, in my opinion, he's one of the best right wing backs / right backs in the league. I think he just needs that consistency because he does pull up every now and then with a muscle injury, and it seems to affect or knock his season. Bidwell as well. We're very shy at left wing back. And I think Bidwell has been really good considering that he's been playing every game, every minute. And his fitness levels this year, I mean, you can tell with himself he looks fitter, he looks stronger. So I want to give him a mention because I think he hasn't, because it's a hard act to follow with Maatsen from last year because I really rated Maatsen. Going forward, he was really good. So Bidwell's been solid. I think he has. So yeah, just wanted to give them a mention. But obviously, this is the best time to play Sheffield United, but we can't get away from that. They're a good side, and to be honest with you, I'll be happy with a draw. Just an extra point on the board. Then we've got more fixtures coming up. I think the games that are going to be key are the rearranged fixtures because I see them as all winnable games. So I'd take a point on Wednesday for sure.
Ken, what's your view?
Yeah, I'd be happy with a point, but I just got a funny feeling we might win. We might get back-to-back wins. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. It's going to be close, going to be tight, but I just think that's a great result on Saturday, and that might just kickstart our season.
Yeah, I've got Glenn on as well. Glenn, don't know if you hear me, but what's your prediction for the game against Sheffield United? You there, Glenn? Oh, well, I'll bring it back in if I can. I'll give you my prediction. You never guess what I'm going to say. I'm going to.
I know what you're going to say. 1-1.
Yeah, I fancy a 1-1, but I think we are good enough to win. Purely on the basis that they've got a lot of injuries, and I think we could take advantage of it. But I feel, in all honesty, though, I think it's the game we've got to target 3 points really, because we've got to take advantage of the situation at Sheffield United with the number of injuries. It's not always a good time to play him, but I would say this is a good time to play him at the moment. No wins in 4. They're going to be a little bit shaky at the back. They probably felt they should have beaten Blackpool, and they'll be quite happy with a draw in the end, obviously the 98th minute equaliser. But I think a draw is a good result, but I don't think it's a fantastic result. I think we've got to try and target 3 points. My honest opinion, I think it would be 1-1. It just depends if we can just create chances and open them up. And I think big performance from Big Vic again. I thought he was superb yesterday. But I think the fact that we've been keeping clean sheets, with the exception of the Burnley game in the last few games, has really given me a lot of confidence that we can get a result. But guess what? I'm going to sit on the fence. So there you go.
What a surprise!
Yeah,
we've got to try and win our home games. That's important. Anything away?
No, we need to win. Yeah, no, we can win. We can definitely win. But I don't like saying we're going to win because I'm always in the egg on my face.
Yeah, well,
so,
we'll be happy.
Yeah, but I definitely it's a winnable game. I think it's a more winnable game than say Burnley at home. I thought Burnley were they were a top side. I thought they're the team for me who looked like going to get promoted this season, a quality side. But I'm looking forward to it. I think if we can get another 3 points, that gets us up to 13. If we get that then potentially we could be level on points with the likes of the Boroughs and I think overtake Huddersfield. And you think, with those 3 games in hand, that really then sets us up nicely. Hopefully, if we take advantage and get some wins going, then the season looks a bit more promising. So I think, I definitely feel a lot more positive, for today than I was at the start of Saturday, because I really thought Cardiff, I couldn't see us getting nothing there. I thought we were going to lose 2-0. I was convinced in my head that we were going to lose, and I was just going to sit there and enjoy the game and not really worry about it. And then we end up winning 1-0. So I think that's probably a good motto in life: is don't expect too much, and then when it happens, and it's a good thing, So
that's a good thing about the Championship. Anybody can beat anybody on the day, isn't it? It's a crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
it's very close, especially at the top as well. Now I think it's the amount of points between like first and sixth, and then even like first and like 14th is like not that much whatsoever. And it can, I know, especially towards the top as well, it can chop and change that much at the minute because everyone seems to be like taking points off of everyone, and like even like teams like Norwich and are dropping points and that. So it's quite a dogfight this year.
I think it'll be a good game now. I'm looking forward to it. If you ask me after Burnley if I was looking for Sheffield United in the next home game, I'll be like, oh no, I'm dreading it. I'm really thinking we're going to lose 2 or 3-0. But now I think we could get something out of this game. So, I'm a bit more optimistic now. It's just amazing what one win can do. You think one win, you think you've won. This is the problem with us fans, though, isn't it? You win one game, you think you're going to get promoted to the Premier League. You lose a game, maybe relegate League One. That's just the mentality of us fans. It's just it's the very fickle nature of the game, really. But it's a game we love, and I think we should be up for this game. I think we should be looking forward to it. I think confidence will be good, and the fact we kept a clean sheet is a really good sign. And to me, again, it goes back to getting that first goal. Whoever gets the first goal is always crucial in Championship games. It was good that at least we got the first goal yesterday. We ended up winning. And unlike other games this season, Millwall, shall I say, we scored first with blooming well lost, and it was absolutely spitting angry after that. Never mind.
We need to give it a good go, don't we? We need to just get on the front foot early and just, like you say, it's the best time to play Sheffield United with all their injuries. So we've got to see that as a positive and just take the game to them and then just see what happens from there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that wraps up tonight's show. So I want to thank our guests, Ken, Stuart, as always. Thanks, mate. Reece, Spall, thanks for coming on. Travelling Blade, great to have you back on.
Thank you for having me.
We'll get you back on around maybe Christmas time, because that's when the Boxing Day fixtures at Bramall Lane. So we'll get you on around then. Not on Christmas Day itself, but it'll be around that sort of time. So All right, guys. Well, thanks everyone for listening. Our next podcast, I believe, will be Thursday. We'll be reviewing, hopefully, a win against Sheffield United, and we'll be previewing Stoke away fixture next Saturday. So stay tuned for that. That'll be a 7:30 start. Thanks everyone for listening. Play out Sky Blues, and we'll talk to you soon.
Play out Sky Blues.
Up the Blades.